What's up, you data friends? It's Yanis here and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to deploy your machine learning model into a Streamlit app like this one, where you get to input your values over here. So for example, 300, and then change any of the features you have used to train your machine learning model. Then you can click predict, and you are going to get a prediction based on the selections you did on the left-hand side. And more specifically, this video is actually video part 2. In the first video, we have developed our machine learning model and we have stored our model using pickled. And in this video, we are going to build this Streamlit app I have just shown you from scratch. So if you want to watch the first video first to see how we've developed and stored our model, I'm going to have a link in the video description so you can watch that first. Otherwise, you can just watch this video from here where we're going to start building our Streamlit app, which is this step over here. In the next video, we are also going to build a Power BI dashboard, which is basically our existing data and the predictions on existing data. So I'm going to have this video too in a link in the video description. And before we start this video, let me just say that if you're passionate about data analytics and data science, then please consider liking this video, subscribing to my channel, and enable notifications for my future videos. Right, starting with the first thing we should do is that we should try and reconstruct the input that we have used to train the model. Because in order to call the model and predict on that model, you're going to need to pass exactly the same input in the same order. And our input, if we have a look quickly, so let me visualize this quickly, head like this, you can see that this is the data frame that we have used to train our model. So the user has to be able to select or input all of these values, and then we're going to take all those values as an input and then feed it into our model in order to make the prediction. So as you can see on the left-hand side, we have all the features we have used to train our model. So this is what I'm doing over here. I'm creating a function that basically gathers all the features that we need to pass in our model. So for the horsepower and the torque, I'm saying st dot, and then I'm creating this sidebar. St, by the way, is Streamlit. St dot sidebar numeric input. Horsepower no is going to be the title, which is this one you see over here. The minimum value is going to be 0. The maximum value is going to be 1000. Step 1, and the current value, the default, is going to be 300. So if we refresh this, this is going to say 300. There you go, as you can see over there. Going back, I repeat the same process for torque. And then for make, body size, basically for the rest of the categories we have, I'm creating a selection box, not a number input box, because the user actually can select from a specific list. And this is where I pass the list. So I say for make, the list is going to be these cars. So if we check make and the list, you can see it's only those cars. I repeat the same process for all of our data. And then I create this user underscore data, which is basically a list with all of our selections. And then if I call the function and then store it in user data, you can see all the selections that the user has made over here. Now, the next step is that I need to transform this list into this type of input you see over here. So make, for example, is a true or false. The user only selected Audi, for example. So we're going to have to now transform this list we have over here into this input over here, which is what the next function does. So it transforms the input into the required format. And what this does is that it takes as input the data, which is going to be this data over here, and then a feature list, which is going to be these features we have over here, which is basically the columns of all this data frame in the same order, because this is what we are going to recreate so we can pass it into our model. Right, coming down here, this function says that the input data equals feature is going to get the feature from this list over here, otherwise 0 for feature in feature list, which is this list over here. And this is going to return an array of the selections of this list over here and zeros and ones. So what it does is that it starts for the horsepower no, it has it, it's going to take the value 300, so it's going to add 300 in this array. Then it's going to go through torque no over here, it has it in our list, so it's going to return 400. Then it's going to go through make Aston Martin, and then over here, as you can see, we have make Aston Martin as 1. Then it's going to return 1. Then it's going to go through make Audi. It's not going to find make Audi over here, so it's going to add 0. Same case with BM, 0, then Bentley, 0, 0, 0, all the way until it finds the next value, which is basically the body size compact 1. So you get the idea, you get how it works. If I run it again, you can see it creates this array that we can now pass into our model to make a prediction, which is actually the next step. So if we have a look over here, I'm saying prediction equals LM, which is our model we have trained above, dot predict. I'm passing this input array, which we have just generated, and then I'm making a prediction. If I run it, you can see it works. The next step now is to create the bar graph we have over here on the left-hand side, which basically has the feature importances. To do this, first I go back over here and I'm sorting my data frame from highest to lowest, and then I'm creating this px.bar, which is plotly bar. If I run it quickly, it's this one over here that has the X title, Y title, orientation, horizontal, the title, feature importance, the labels, the text, and then the coloring. And then I'm also adding this update layout in order to allow me to play with the layout. So the reason I'm using Plotly is because it's actually interactive, so I can just select specific data and it's going to zoom in. It's the same case in Streamlit. If I select specific data, you can see it zooms in exactly the data point I want. Right, if I go back now, the next step now is to put everything together. So all these functions and code we have explained, we're going to put everything together into one cell. And this is because we're going to move this into Visual Studio Code so we can actually deploy our app. Right, starting from the start, what do? The first thing we do is that we specify all the libraries we're going to need for this app. Then we set the page config to be white because I'm using all the page. As you can see, it's white. Then I am loading our pre-trained model. So if I show you quickly, linear_model pickle file, linear_model pickle file. This is the file that we have stored in the previous video, which is actually our machine learning model. It's this model over here. If I show you, yeah, there we go. This is the model we have exported, and now we are importing it into our Streamlit app so we can use it. Next, I am loading our feature importances Excel file, which again we have calculated and exported in the previous video. And down here, I'm just calling the function to read the file. Then in the sidebar, I am adding an image, and this image is basically this image over here, the left image, the small one. And I'm also adding a header on this image, which is the vehicle features, which is this one over here. Right, going back, the next thing is our function we have created for the user to select all the values. We have already explained this. Next, I am adding another image, which is pick2, which is going to be our banner, which is this image over here. Going back, next, I am adding a title, which is the vehicle price prediction, and I'm aligning this into the center, which is this title over here. Going back, next, I am splitting our layout into 2 columns. That's what they are called in Streamlit. So the left column is going to be this one, and the right column is going to be this one where we have our predictions. Going back in the left column now, I'm going to add the, what is it? Oh, it's the feature importances bar graph we have explained. So I'm just copying the code from above and pasting it here. And then on the right column, this is where I'm going to have our predictions. So I start by adding my title, which is this title over here. Then we are calling our function get user input, which is going to get all the inputs from the user over here and then pass them into our machine learning model. This one is a copy paste from above. We have explained this. It basically transforms all the inputs into the layout that we need for the machine learning model. All of this is exactly the same as above. And down here, I am adding this button, which basically says if we click this predict button, it's basically going to make a prediction, as you can see. But let's read the code. First, it's going to run the prepare input function. Then it's going to call our model. Then it's going to add a subheader, and then it's going to print our prediction. And this is our prediction over here. And if I run this quickly into Jupyter Notebooks, then it's not going to return anything because we have to run this in Visual Studio Code. To do this now, we're going to need to create a new file, which is going to be a Python file. We are going to copy and paste all of this cell into that file. So I'm going to copy all of the code, paste it over here, rename this as car predictions 2 maybe, click rename. Also make a save, don't forget the save all. Now I'm going to find this file from my PC. In my case, it's actually this one over here. And I'm going to paste it into the folder I want. So in my case, it's going to be this folder. Let me see, not this folder over here, paste car prediction 2. Now I need to open this file using Visual Studio Code. I actually have Visual Studio Code open. Make sure you open all the folder that you have the file in. So it's going to update the directory so you can actually run it. In my case, it's this one over here, carpred2, so you can see it. And next, in order to run this now, you're going to need to run streamlit run and then the name of this file. Let me get the name. Copy, paste over here. .py, but you're going to need to run this in a new command prompt. So we're going to do new command prompt, then I'm going to paste it, and then I'm going to run it. And this is going to open a new tab in your browser where you are going to get your Streamlit app. There you go. Now let's test predictions on the default values to see if it works. You can see it works fine. Now let's try and adjust this. Let's do 600 horsepower, maybe 500. Oh, not 660. Yeah, 660 is fine. Then let's do like 500 torque. Let's do make is PM. Body size, let's do large. Let's change this one to twin turbo. And let's change the drivetrain to maybe 4-wheel drive. And if we click predict now, you can see it works fine. Right, so this is it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed this video and you've gained enough value out of this video. If you feel like you did, I would really appreciate it if you click the like button, subscribe to my channel and enable notifications for my future videos. In the next video, I am going to build this Power BI dashboard from scratch, which again has our model predictions, but this is all the actual data. It does not allow us to make predictions on new data. So edit the inputs and then run our model. However, it's still very helpful because these are all the analytics of our predictions and it's very helpful for the business to have this too. Thank you very much for watching this video and I'm going to see you in the next video.